I don't want to spoil my books. Hello. Chain Gang All Stars by Nana Kwame Adjei-Brenya. I am a little nervous because it is a big topic. It is speculative fiction. It is also dystopian. And I say dystopian because a lot of you might agree with me that dystopian books are a little bit hard to read right now because they're feeling a little too close to home. Dystopian is supposed to be a alternative world where things go wrong. This is how the book was sold to me. A book about two women who found love in this hopeless place that is prison, and they compete against other people for the freedom, for the chance of freedom, if they survive 3 years. 3 years in the Cape system. The chains are groups of people who are kind of in the same team that compete against other links or chains, because chains have links. It is the lingo there. As many of you know, every time you read a book, you go into it thinking you're going to get what they're selling you. And then sometimes when the book is good, you come out with so much more. And I love when that happens. I get out of this book not knowing what to say. First of all, Chain Gang All Stars is not a love story. I want you to read it. I want you to get a good experience out of it. So we do this dance of how much is too much and too little, right? Because I also want you to go in there with the right expectations. People who are privileged, or they think of themselves as privileged, because nobody's safe from the touch of bad people with too many resources and little consequences. No one's safe. To them, this reality just seems too far-fetched. The love story is a huge part of the book, and it is the vehicle. So if you're getting from point A to point B, this love story is the vehicle. This book is a digestible way of talking about cause and effect, consequences, how we got here, brutality, the language that is used, the humanizing, isolation, being able to see the human in someone who you think is a criminal and deserves endless punishment for the end of time, and explaining it to you in a way that makes you understand that it's just not that simple, because things are not that simple ever. This book is not for the faint of heart. It's not for anyone who hasn't gone through anything bad in their life. This book is not for anyone who hasn't been under the care or limitations of someone who they're supposed to trust, but they can't count on. Someone who maybe has power over them and they feel like they can't do anything about it, or they genuinely cannot do anything about it. This is not for anyone who's never had to deal with being silenced in any physical or, philosophical way. And this book is definitely not for people who can't see both sides of a coin, points of views, who can't put themselves in other people's shoes. I think that is the easiest way that I can go about this review, because in order for you to understand this struggle, you have to put yourself in their place. You have to put yourself in a reality where you have no control. And I mean, you sign your life away. They sign their life away for the hope of freedom. When you do read this book and you're thinking, why am I learning about a certain character? Are they important? Is this a waste of time? It's not a waste of time. Please pay attention. Every single case and every single point of view at some degree is based on someone who, in my opinion, it's a real case. It's either a real case or a real thought, a real experience. This person did the research. This author, I'm gonna try to say it without the notes, Nana Kwame Adjei-Brenya. I am really sorry about not saying the name correctly. I know a lot of people didn't say it when they were reviewing the books. They just said the book name and not the author, because it is like a difficult-ish name to pronounce. I believe it's from Ghana. It has Ghana roots. This author's parents are from Ghana. His father was a defense attorney, and it took this author 7 years to write this book. I don't think this book was born when he started writing it. I think this book was born a very, very long time ago. This book is perfect from start to end. The end, it is beautiful, it is perfect. I don't think there's anyone who could have done a better job. I understand why he's so passionate about this topic. First of all, his father was a defense attorney, like I said. His mother is a teacher. And so these two very intelligent people are raising this kid, right? And this kid is growing up, and by nature and nurture, he is going to get interested in these topics. You could say, oh, they were forced to get interested in these topics. But once you're an adult, you've chosen to get interested and continue to pursue certain interests. So now, since they are a grown adult and have gone to university and everything, it is fair to assume that they care a lot about the subject, right, of prison and reform, and the real problems that we're facing and the possibilities. During the time that they were writing this book, it was also COVID time, and they were going to school, and their father got diagnosed with cancer. So imagine writing such an intense book while all of these things are happening. And then you also have to sleep, eat, shower, prep your food, wash your dishes, clean your house, do your thing. Sleep. Did I say sleep? Probably. I think this person was extremely fast in writing this book, honestly, with dealing with all of that. Because I tell you, my grandpa passed away like 10 years ago now. I believe like it's been like 10 years. And my mom, her dad, my mom has not recovered fully, and I see it, I know it. So they really care not only about the incarcerated, but who put them there, how the business of prison, because prison is a business, how it works in this hypothetical world of sports, fighting sports. I think it's very dangerous to mix sports and fighting with someone else's freedom. Someone who has a lot to lose or earn from a fight. And I'm not talking people who are in the career of boxing. I'm saying if you are promising someone that's on death row, or anyone who is in a terrible position in prison, because there is bad people who are worse than them. That goes from guards to the people who are directing the place, like running it, and also other cellmates. It could be torture. There is a reason why a lot of people off themselves. It's the hopelessness. It's the having to endure this stuff every day. And before you say, but they deserve it, that is the moral question. Because in this book, you get to see multiple points of views, from the fans to the people who are responsible for it, to the people who are very corrupt, to the people who are also innocent. Bad things happen, and no one is safe. Have you ever heard of the meme or the idea of the meanest girl becoming a nurse, or the worst boy in school becoming a police officer? You went to school with someone terrible, a girl or a boy who later became interested in positions of power, right? Maybe they became a doctor, maybe they became a nurse, maybe they became a cop, maybe they became you name it. And they're terrible. They're terrible people, right? Okay. Well, this applies everywhere. That's why we need good people and good education and empathy in the workforce, because there is psychopaths. And I guess it's just giving you a lens of really how things are not so simple. This author, Kwame Adjei-Brenya, he was very ahead of his time. The ICE detention centers, and basically concentration camps. They're not detention centers, they're concentration camps. They're very sneaky, and they're hurting people, filled with psychopaths in there who are guards and people you're supposed to complain to again. And yeah, if a place is built in hatred and a place is built in money, as in a business, there is human trafficking that happens, there is sexual exploitation, there is beatings, there is unwanted, unwarranted, unnecessary cruelty and violence. There is people taking their own lives, because it's truly inhumane. I mean, it's easier said than done, you know, that you would be like, yeah, I would withstand because I deserve it, or whatever. I deserve the punishment because of what I did. No, you wouldn't. You would think at some point that enough is enough. You also shouldn't be tortured every single day of your life, especially if it's, let's say, you are innocent. Doesn't seem fair, does it? Maybe the guard that is in charge of you may not care, because they don't care about you. They don't care about anyone. They're not gonna hear you. They might even silence you. They might even punish you for crying while they're beating you, and that might lead to an even bigger beating. And if you don't think that's a real thing, then you've never been through it. You've never experienced any sort of harshness. And if you think people are making things up or exaggerating or trying to feed you the injustices that happen with shove it down your throat, then you're definitely out of touch. And you probably should treat this book like a memoir, because that is what it is to you. Because that's someone else's life, and it's like, well, I can't give it 0 stars or 1 star or a pass, because that's someone's life. That's someone's real life, and that would be messed up. Well, believe it or not, there are some privileged people who would pass this book because they don't properly rate it for what it is. It's real life, but to them it's fictional. To them it's not real. To them it might be undigestible and fascinating facts, but it's as real as it gets. I hope that my passion for this book and the topics in this book can communicate why you should read it, and why it is important, and why it's so complicated to just give you a very clear review of what it's about. I am dressed with the NFL jersey because this book actually takes place around the same time as the Super Bowl. It takes place in a stadium, in a football field ish. It's like a coliseum, very sports driven. It's entertainment mixed with human life. They truly don't have a choice. They are being forced to do this. It's unfortunate. It may never happen. Dystopian books seem not so dystopian right now, because there's a lot of really stupidly rich, greedy, horrible people with too much time, no love in their life, no hobbies, real hobbies that don't involve punishing other people or making other people suffer, because they don't have friends, real friends, and their friends are invested in the same things that they are. They're just as sickening, because birds of a feather do flock together, No hobbies, no life, but they have too much money and too much time in their hands, and they do bad things. And that is not to say that rich people do bad things all the time. I don't believe in the fact that money makes you evil. I think if you are evil and you have money, you'll do evil things. If you are a good person and you have money, you'll do great things. Give me $1 trillion, I'll prove it to you. I'll do great things. 5 stars. My name is Hugh Clouds, and I will see you soon. Peace. It's crazy, scary, spooky, hilarious. Crazy, scary, spooky, hilarious.